This Fleet Equipment Unscripted interview is presented by Hendrickson, a leading manufacturer of heavy-duty suspension systems and components to the global commercial transportation industry. Visit hendrickson-intl.com to learn more.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jason Morgan, Content Director for Fleet Equipment, and welcome to Fleet Equipment Unscripted. Today, we're talking with Stephen Hampson, Director of Electronic Controls at Hendrickson. Stephen, thank you for taking the time. Great to catch up with you.
Yeah, hi, Jason. Good afternoon.
So we are going to be focusing on Watchmen here, which is a kind of a data sensor telematic solution from Hendrickson. You're integrating with a lot of people. You're going to roll this out here this year. And from your point of view, as a supplier working with a lot of different trailer telematics providers to get this wheel end sensor data into fleet manager hands through those telematic providers, what's important for fleets to know in terms of how you generate that data and then how you share that data through the providers and get it into their hands?
Yeah, great question, Jason. So maybe if I start off by explaining a little bit about Watchmen and in fact why we developed the system. So this is actually a system which is based off our Telematic Pro, which is an automatic tire inflation system for trailers. That's the base of the system. That system is widely adopted these days on trailers, and it's really used to continually monitor and adjust tire pressure to an optimum value. But that's a purely mechanical system. So when the system itself is operating today, if there is an issue with the tire pressure, then a warning lamp comes on the trailer dashboard to alert the driver. But there's no information to the back office of what's going on other than this warning light to the driver. So a lot of our fleet customers provided us feedback that, hey, this is great, but we need to know when there's a recurring problem, if there's an issue with tire pressures, and be able to provide that information to the back office so that they can take the necessary action to get the issue addressed. So Watchman itself is added on top of our Telematic system. I think, as you mentioned, it's actually a sensor that is mounted into the axle hubcap, so it's integrated into the wheel end. And then these sensors, which are wireless sensors, like actually based off the same principle as a tire pressure monitoring sensor, they collect the data from each of the tires if it's a dual, or just one tire if it's a single, and then they transmit that wirelessly to a gateway so you can collect together all that data. Then subsequently, that's translated into a typical J1939 message, which can then be broadcast to a telematics provider then to send that information to the fleet's back office.
Right. Very cool. So, and as you mentioned, there's a lot of data you can pull from this, a lot of possibilities. But one of the things we always talk about when we talk about this is there's almost too many possibilities. There's a lot of options. Is there a starting point you recommend for fleets in looking at this wheel end specific data? Where do you have them start to really realize the ROI pretty quickly?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, the first thing is obviously you're right, you can generate a lot of data. So really the data you want is the data that's actionable. What we really start off by doing is we transmit a lot of data, but what we do together with the telematics providers is really distill that data down to really, first of all, the important information. Let's say you got a fleet of 100 trailers. You want to know about the ones that are the problem ones. So whilst you may have data from 100 trailers, if you got just one problem trailer, that is really where you want to focus. So in general, the starting point is focus on the assets that are the problem. And the first thing is really to give an alert to the back office that, hey, there is a problem with trailer 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the one you want to go after. Once you've identified that, the typical method is to send a notification, be it an email, a text, or on a dashboard. So different fleets want it in different ways. So, that's really what is adapted to the fleet's needs, which then says, hey, I have a problem with this asset. So then the fleet manager can go and look at that asset and see not only what the problem is, but generally speaking, the telematics has a GPS device. So you know what it is, you know where it's at. So, if the asset's moving, call up the driver and say, hey, you've got a problem. Now, depending on what the problem is, if it's a critical problem, maybe you want the driver to pull over straight away. Or if it's just a slow leak, which you've detected, maybe he can finish his journey or proceed to a place where he can get it repaired. He's not stopped by the side of the road. So, the fleet manager has that information in his hand to really look and then make a decision. Hey, should I stop, or can I proceed to get it repaired? Then the last thing is really, once you say, okay, I take it to a shop to get it repaired, based on the data in the system, it really identifies what the problem is, and more to the point where it is. So it's the front left tire, it's the inner tire, it's the outer tire. So it also helps the technician in his fault finding, troubleshooting, that really has information to hand that tells him where the problem is and allows him to narrow in on that. Not that he's got to start looking at the complete trailer and trying to sort of pinpoint it himself.
Right. No, I mean, good information to have too. Small leaks often turn into large leaks, so it's good to catch those and know that, because often you don't know until it's a large leak. You didn't know there was a small leak in there because the TPMS is doing its job. It's keeping you rolling, but anything you can catch on there. And I also like the idea, I think you hinted at it here, of kind of the macro level, being able to get a lot of this information, kind of zooming out and saying, oh, okay, well, you know where the trailer is, you know where it was, saying, okay, well, on this corridor, I'm having more problems, or when trailers are coming out of this depot for preventative maintenance, maybe I need to tighten down on the tire maintenance down there to make sure that I'm heading off these leaks and inspections before we even get there. So that's a cool idea.
Exactly. And actually, you raise a good point about small leaks. So, one of the things about an automatic tire inflation system is it is designed to actually cater for the small leaks. So it's making the adjustment to keep the pressure maintained, which generally is a good thing because it lowers the amount of work you have to do to maintain the trailer. However, if that leak is continuous, then how do you know about that, and how do you actually address it? So one of the things about the Watchman system is a little bit unique, is that when the trailer is parked, then the system is no longer, the automatic tire inflation system is no longer charging the air into the system.
Right.
So we are also monitoring the trailer when it's parked to actually detect that specific instance of slow leak. So you can watch the pressure leaking over time, over the evening, over days, and even if the asset is not connected to a tractor, you can store that data. And the next time the system is powered up, it sends a warning, hey, you've got a slow leak. Now the system may keep up with it, but that's a sort of service soon sort of thing, as opposed to, hey, you've got to stop the trailer and not move it. So it allows you to pick up those slow leak instances, which normally could be masked by the tire inflation system.
Right. Well, and trailers tend to sit a lot sometimes too. So you also don't want to show up to a flat tire and think that that trailer is ready to roll and fine. So maybe that will let you do some preventive maintenance, get a tech out there, fix the tire in the yard, or bring it in to fix it before you show up and go, well, we've got to change out assets here.
Yeah, I see. I mean, that is something, quite a few fleets have said to us, hey, what we really want is, if you like, a health ready warning. So,
sure.
Is that asset, is that trailer ready to roll? are there any problems with it? If there's problems, I don't want to put it out on the road. I want to fix it before it goes on the road. So that is really the great situation with the system, that actually it records that data and will notify you. Some of the telematic providers we're working with have a battery backup on the trailer. Right. So actually they can power up the system while it's parked and send that information. So you actually know, even before you go and pick the trailer up, that, hey, there's something wrong with this trailer, and let's take a look at it before I send it out of the yard.
Yep, for sure. And you mentioned working with telematics providers there. I gotta say that it's the smart trailer. So trailer telematics beyond the location, right, which has been a big driver in trailer telematics for a while, but now smart trailers adding data like you're providing here. But it's kind of the Wild West right now, with OEMs providing their systems, third parties working on their systems, and we're really not sure how this is going to shake out in terms of integrations. But one constant when I'm out there talking with telematics suppliers is Hendrickson's name keeps popping up. It seems that you're working very well with suppliers kind of across the board, OEMs, third parties. How do you navigate those relationships, and what could you tell fleet managers as they're trying to navigate that from the customer side?
Well, I think from our side, obviously, we recognize that, I mean, the system is great in what it does, but we need telematic partners in order to get the information off the trailer and into the fleet's hands. So, that was pretty much a given out of the gate when we started this development. And, as we started talking with different telematic providers, each are looking to really also build out their eco-structure, build the value to the fleet with more information. And generally speaking, tires is one of the top issues. So that always comes towards the top of the list of items that people want to address and have information on. So, it's worked in different ways. I mean, obviously we have very strong relationships with the trailer OEMs from the suspensions and axles we currently provide today. So that was a natural fit in terms of the tire inflation system and really building additional functionality into that. But then, we had a combination of fleets coming to us and saying, hey, I'm working with company A, B, or C. Can you please go talk with them? Or some of the trailer manufacturers who are strong partners of Hendrickson, we've also had discussions with them, and they said, hey, this fits great in terms of what we are doing in terms of developing, as you say, a smart trailer concept. So it's worked several different ways. There's no sort of cookie cutter approach to this. There are a lot of telematic providers out there, and really we've been guided by our OEM customers and our fleet customers to say, hey, these are the people we'd like you to work with and develop solutions. So it's yes, it's the Wild West, but it's becoming tamer as we go along here, and I think people find their niches and how they want to approach it.
Yeah, and I think more and more when we talk about integrations and data coming together, which is happening really across the landscape of the trucking industry, I mean, it really just comes back to the people and the relationships and working together, right? I mean, the technology can do what you need it to do, but you need the strong relationships to get people to do what you need them to do and you to do what they need to do, right? So very cool.
Exactly.
Very cool. Stephen, always great catching up with you. I appreciate you taking the time. It'll be very cool to see how this rolls out, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thanks, Jason. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about Watchmen today, and thank you very much.